Red Hat OpenShift, or OpenShift Container Platform for Enterprise, spans over 8 years of history and development and has been continuously remodeled and re-architected to include and incorporate the latest from the open source community. This includes projects such as Docker and Kubernetes, and for that reason, OpenShift in general is fundamental to developers, application builders, and those who want to work with containerized applications at a scale that would require something like orchestration, automation, and of course the other latest innovations coming out of the open community. As an example, in 2015, Red Hat released OpenShift Container Platform version 3.x, which made Kubernetes a fundamental part of the upstream ecosystem and changed the way that users manage their containerized Docker applications. Red Hat OpenShift includes a comprehensive suite of databases, services, and frameworks that allow you to construct the latest in modern hybrid database applications. However, for those that have already invested into virtualization technologies, there's added value with OpenShift by being able to containerize those VM applications and orchestrate them at scale using technologies like Ansible and Kubernetes. Today in 2019, OpenShift is currently in its 4th generation. Red Hat's engineering team continues to add value for customers who want to consume open source but according to best practices. So for example, integrating the networking and security layers of pure open source Kubernetes, which is notoriously difficult to pull off and secure if you're rolling your own solution. Each of the databases, services, and frameworks that belong to the OpenShift containerized platform are fundamentally identical to what you would find from the open source community itself. They're no different than what you could download off of GitHub, and for that reason, there's a lot of transferability and no risk of lock-in by developing within the platform. As Red Hat puts it, they want their developers to focus on the code that makes the biggest difference and worry less about the minutiae of database administration. OpenShift ensures that the very best of open source technology is available as table stakes within the platform, and that includes leading databases such as MongoDB, Postgres, MariaDB, and more, but also the fundamental languages of developers, including everything from Python to Ruby to Go to many more. And for those who are looking to automate and orchestrate at scale, there are technologies that are fundamentally baked into the OpenShift platform, including Ansible and Kubernetes. It goes without saying that the open source community is continuously evolving, and as such you would expect that the distribution of open source technologies in general would require constantly refreshing and changing within platforms like OpenShift. So how does Redshift ensure that, while still keeping a pace of the changes coming out of open source, that they can guarantee rock-solid performance, security, and reliability for those enterprise clients that are coming to depend on OpenShift for their production services? When operations teams at Red Hat go through the stepwise process of determining what version of Kubernetes do they wish to support, they go through what's known as cutting the release, which is determining at which point in time, either at the very latest or perhaps a few steps behind that. In fact, it's often been demonstrated that over 4 months are required by these major large organizations to prove out and vet any new technologies before they're willing to push it into production within that environment. And that holds true for Red Hat as well as IBM as well as for others. Red Hat invests significant resources, time, and expertise into ensuring that that release goes smoothly and that it doesn't break other elements of the platform. And if you're thinking of this from the point of view of an adopter of open source or someone looking to build with it yourself, going through a heavily vetted, secured, and checked process that you would have through OpenShift has a number of benefits over trying to roll your own solution directly from the open source vendor. A quick aside about the Open Container Initiative, or OCI, which those of you familiar with containerization technologies have likely heard of or worked with. Docker was the first proponent of this back in 2015, and it really is about establishing standards and guidelines around how to create containerized images and to deploy these and orchestrate them at scale. Obviously, Docker is a major adherent and strong proponent to the OCI standard, but Red Hat as well also adheres to the OCI runtime and image standards. They utilize what is called the Red Hat Universal Base Image, or UBI, for their container-based images within the Red Hat OpenShift platform. OpenShift is squarely focused on improving the productivity of those that are helping to build, design, and architect the next generation of applications. Be that through the database services that are containerized to allow for repeatable, consistent patterns of deployment, the orchestration engine that allows you to scale this to dozens or even hundreds of containers, the microservices and frameworks that allow you to pull in the latest techniques and technologies from open source, and many others that pull together for a cohesive ecosystem that's provisionable in a self-service manner, and of course wrapped by the security and monitoring and governance that you get through platforms such as OpenShift. By bringing these capabilities together into a singular platform, OpenShift Container Platform allows your organization to go through the necessary organizational and cultural changes to make these aspirations a reality.